Okay. If it's bad, you all should say bad. Don't always say good. If it's excellent, you all should say excellent. Yeah. So, who is new here today? On my left, anyone who is new? Tell us your name and how you got to know about this group. I see. Welcome, welcome. Let me see, who else? On my right, anybody? I think we have seems like a family, huh? Yeah. Care to share with us your name and how you got to know about this group?
I'm Gigi. My son, my daughter.
Hello, welcome. And how did you get to know about this group?
Through a friend.
Through a friend. What's your name? Your friend's name?
Grace. She came here many years back.
Okay, Grace. Okay. How is she now? Name, son? Yongxiang. And the daughter? Yingshen. So what are you doing, son, Yongshen?
I just recently graduated from Polytechnic, now awaiting to serve the nation. And so in my free time, I do wildlife photography at the zoo, as and when I can. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, good. I like how you position it, Yeah, waiting to serve the nation. Yeah. So are you looking forward to it?
In a sense, yes.
Oh, I see. Well, when are you starting your BMT, your enlistment? Oh, you haven't received your posting? Oh, it's coming soon. All the best.
Hopefully earlier than late.
Oh, why do you want it to be earlier?
Then, in a sense, I can faster get it done over with. Not in a bad sense, and then go on to study university.
And what course do you intend to pursue in uni?
History.
History. You are the third person I know of to study history. Yeah. Wow. That's, to be very frank, that's what we call a 冷门. Yeah. It takes quite a bit of a person to pursue history as a subject, as a course of study. So what prompted you to pursue history?
Very interesting question. I think maybe it's got to do with the fact that in secondary school, as I was studying history, I got to be more aware of the content in history. Slowly over time, got interested, especially with all the political side of things here and there. So I wouldn't exactly put it 100% pure history, but maybe a mixture of history and politics here and there. Yeah.
I see. Good. Well, as they say, he who knows the past can learn something from it, yeah, and mold the future. Yeah. All the best for your NS and your future course. And your sister is keenly awaiting for me to ask more about her. So what are you doing?
Now I'm waiting for poly to start. Then in the meantime, I'm just practicing how to draw buildings because my course is interior architecture and design.
Okay. So you are into isometric drawing. Okay, cool. So your brother will learn about the past and then you create the future. Welcome to SGC. So for if you if you all managed to join us for the puja, so for SGC we have the puja comprising Pali chanting and also the Chinese Heart Sutra chanting, and then we have short guided meditation followed by the Dhamma sharing. So for this week, the topic is establishing lasting relationships. Before we go into the subject matter, I've listed up 4 qualities. We'll be going through a bit of them, as we go into the subject. But before we go into it, why do we want to have a lasting relationship? When is it that we want to have lasting relationship? And are there circumstances where we don't want to have lasting relationship? What will be the circumstances? And what kind of relationships are we talking about? So first of all, a show of hands, how many of you are in a relationship? Raise your hand. Well, actually, that was a trick question. We are all in some kind of relationship. So the fact that most of you didn't raise your hand, it can mean a few things. One, typical Singaporean kind of response, non-committal. Two, most of us interpret relationships to be romantic. We usually use the word relationships, especially in this context. We tend to think of it as romantic relationship. What other kind of relationships are there? Or what other kind of relationships do you all know of? Romantic can be boy-girl, can be boy-boy, can be girl-girl, can be girl-boy. What else? I won't go into boy-boy-girl or what. Now by listing it out, I'm in no way endorsing or I'm just listing out the current state of the matter. So besides romantic, what else are there? What else are there? Other kinds of relationships are there? Friendship. So we call that platonic relationship. Platonic. What else? Family. So we can also call that kinship. Kins. What about the relationship you have with your colleague? We call that a professional relationship. What else? I think that pretty much covers most of the relationship we have. Anything else we miss out? Romantic, platonic, family, kins, professional. Any other kind of relationship? Professional will include a whole range. Like for example, you go to the food court, you order char kway teow. You are having a professional relationship with the stall owner. You are the customer and they are the vendor, if you will. So there's a client, patron relationship. So that's also under professional relationship. When you take Grab, that is also a professional relationship. When you go to see the doctor, it's also a professional relationship. What about when you go to school and you learn from the teacher? can that be considered a professional kind of relationship? In some ways, yeah. From a teacher's point of view, he's having a professional relationship with you, yeah. So of course there can be subcategories. We can consider that a teacher-student relationship, yeah, patient-client or patient-doctor relationship, and so on. Yeah. But all these are human type of relationships. There are also non-human relationships. Yeah. Do you all know? Do you all know that there are non-human relationships? Some of you nod your head. So any examples? Let me give you the obvious example, okay? There's something called RDBMS. Yeah. So it's Relational Database Management System. And you'll be surprised, it may come off as a silly geek joke, yeah? But there's a reason why relational databases are called relational databases. Because the tables in the database are related to one another. Yeah. If they are not related at all, then it's a specific kind of RDMS where RDBMS where there's no foreign key at all. Yeah. And as much as it seems queer, yeah, it seems queer to put it together. You'll be surprised how this human relationship and something as distant as a relational database share certain traits. Yeah? Relationships are about two or more parties. Yeah? Can we have a relationship with ourselves? I don't know whether that is considered narcissistic as well. Yeah, a form of narcissism. You look into the mirror and you're like, hey. Yeah, every morning you wake up and yeah. But we are all in some relationship, and it comprises the link between two or more individuals. Yeah. So if we consider two groups, yeah, sometimes you have relationships between two groups of individuals. So relationships define certain interaction, yeah, certain roles, certain interactions. The nature of the relationship defines the kind of interactions that is to be expected. Human relationships are usually not clearly defined. Yeah, not clearly defined in the sense that you usually don't have a contract, yeah, except like marriage. Yeah, and even in a marriage is oftentimes not so well defined. Yeah, but perhaps in recent years, then you have things like prenuptial agreement. Yeah, where you define clearly what is the state between these two entities or individuals. Yeah, before the contract has gone into effect, and then such that you can roll back. You know, yeah. So that process is also found in RDBMS. Yeah, it's called a transaction. So you start a transaction, and then and after that you try to, put in different requests, and if an error happens, then you cancel the transaction, and the whole thing get rolled back. Yeah, back to the original state, or else you issue a commit, commit transaction. Yeah, so. Again, strange as it may seem, yeah, the way relationships are somewhat similar, whether it's human or non-human. For the purpose of today's talk, we're going to not focus on this. Yeah, I know some of you are very interested, but this is a different subject matter altogether. So we're going to string this down and put it somewhere here. Okay? We're going to focus on human relationship. Is that okay? Yeah. So, human relationships. What defines a human relationship? Earlier we mentioned these few, but all these share certain traits. So we have the nature of the relationship. And then we have the interaction. And perhaps we have the state of the relationship, yeah? And then we have the duration of the relationship. So the nature itself would be determined by the types of relationship we have, yeah? In a way, the nature refers to whether it's romantic, platonic, family, and so on. And from that, it determines the interaction. For example, there are certain interactions that you have between family that would be confined within family. Yeah? Can you think of something that you would do with your family, but not do with, let's say, your colleagues? Huh? To celebrate Qingming. Do you all celebrate Qingming with your colleagues? Yeah, company email. Dear colleagues, 4th of April or 3rd of April, please come down and celebrate Qingming together. Yeah, I know for many companies, especially Singapore local companies, 7月, yes. Yeah, 7月, yes. So sometimes quite interesting. Why is there such a difference? Because of the nature that defines the interaction. Yeah, because certain celebration is a bit more perhaps private, yeah, intimate, if you will. Qingming is usually the celebration of the memorial of memory of our forefathers. Yeah. Do we share forefathers with our family or with our colleagues? Usually with our family. Yeah. I mean, when I say usually, like almost all the time. Yeah. But for colleagues, we don't share that. But there are certain interaction that we may share with our family and also with our colleagues. What would that be? Huh? Birthday? So at work, sometimes we have birthday celebration. Yeah. So we may have similar interaction. But how do you all feel with that, about the nature? Yeah. If let's say you have the office birthday celebration, but one of your colleagues didn't turn up for your birthday celebration, versus if your family or friend fail to turn up, which one would mean more to you? Probably, for most of us, it will probably be family and friends. Yeah. So although certain interactions are similar, yeah, but it means differently to us. In fact, sometimes for companies, it becomes almost like mechanical. Yeah, HR will send you will pass a card around the office, yeah, pass to your manager will just pass around, circulate around, and sometimes one blur colleague will pass to you to sign also. Yeah, almost always happen, Yeah, usually a new colleague, then don't know who you are, then by the way, can you please sign and then pass to the next guy? Then, oops, it's my name, leh. Yeah, yeah, and that's what makes kind of the difference, isn't it? Yeah, because of the interaction can be similar, but the nature of the relationship determines the difference. What about the state? Yeah, what about the state? We can say that the state determines how healthy it is, yeah, whether the relationship is healthy, or whether it is pleasant, unpleasant. Yeah, not everything is about being pleasant or happy. Sometimes it can be unpleasant. Like for example, if you take a Grab, and then the Grab driver refused to take the route you want, or maybe the Grab driver keep on missing the turn and go round and round and round. Yeah, it affects the duration of the relationship. Yeah, it also affects the state of the relationship. Yeah, what if the Grab driver, when you get on board, yeah, offer you a cold towel, yeah, to freshen up, yeah, and if it's a cold day, offer you a warm towel, and then behind tell you that you can scan the QR code and then access the free Wi-Fi, you know, yeah. And by the way, you are the number 20th passenger, you get a 20% discount. And feel free to help yourself to the drinks and snacks. Yeah. And at that point, you may like, you know what, like maybe make another turn. Yeah. Yeah. And then next thing you know, like, and if you like to, you know, you can just access the tablet behind and watch the latest HBO video on demand. Yeah, that will really change the interaction, isn't it? Yeah. That's what you would expect of an SQ flight. Yeah, more than a car ride. Yeah. So with different, although both are under professional, but because of the difference, you would expect the state to be different. You expect the duration to be different. Yeah. Do you expect the driver to greet you like, hello, good morning, welcome aboard? Yeah. And then like offer you like different magazines or Straits Times, Business Times, yeah. Or if you get on to SQ, if they don't offer, how would you feel? Yeah. So state of the relationship also has a memory effect. Yeah. If SQ suddenly do not offer, you will feel a bit strange. Yeah. But if they never offered before, you'll not feel anything. So similarly for other relationships, if let's say your children greet you every day, papa, mama every day, then suddenly one morning wake up and never greet you, then you feel a bit odd. But if your child never ever greet you, and one day wake up, greet you, and then you know, and then prepare breakfast, and then bring the newspaper, you know, and then even orange juice, like I prepare orange juice, red bean, and you know, also coffee. I don't know which one you want, but you know, just choose. Then you may wonder like, what's up? Yeah, what's up? Yeah. So the state of the relationship, yeah, can impact a lot of things as well. Yeah. And lastly, duration. Duration. The duration itself, yeah, which is actually the main thing, because today's topic we want to establish lasting relationships. So when we say lasting, then we think in terms of longer, yeah, longer. But based on what we have gone through earlier, there are certain relationships that is not meant to last. Yeah. If the Grab driver want to establish a lasting relationship with you, that would be a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah. For that matter, after taking Grab for a while, I heard from one Grab driver that apparently the algorithm that the Grab system have, they try not to allocate the same driver to the same passenger more than once within a certain duration of time. Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes in group relationships there can be disruptions. Yeah. So this is what I heard. I don't know whether you all observed that. Yeah, because if you think about it, especially for Grab drivers, if they start off in the morning, most of them would start off from their base, which is their home, right? So if let's say you manage to get someone who stay nearby, chances are, if there's no other algorithm in place, unless there are others who are closer, they probably would have a higher chance of getting you, isn't it? Yeah, but apparently, I heard from one Grab driver that they actually, try to spread the drivers out. So that's why sometimes, even though the person may be nearby, they don't allocate that driver to you. Yeah. Assuming that's true, okay? Assuming that's true. That would mean that Grab or any of the, let's not say Grab because we're on record, and then later they may say, hey, why is this mark against Grab? Yeah, let's say any of the service-oriented companies, yeah, whether it's Ninja Van, Grab, or anyone that has a interaction with your premise, okay? It seems like under such a system, they are not going for a lasting relationship, not a one-to-one lasting relationship, isn't it? Yeah. Why? Why wouldn't they want to establish that? Yeah, because our topic is the opposite. We want to establish lasting relationships. But from this particular example, it seems like there may be cases where we don't want to establish lasting relationship. Yeah. So just speculating, okay? Why would any company not want to establish that kind of relationship between the service provider and the client? So one possible reason would be to prevent the establishment of private transactions. Yeah. So for example, if let's say if Zhuo Ping is actually a Grab driver, and then one time he picked me up, second time picked me up, then we start to chit chat. Third time, quite ngam, you know. Then next thing you know, tell you what, because every day I'm going office, so maybe you can just pick me, you know. I don't have to so leceh pick you, like arrange Grab, and then or Gojek for that matter, or Comfort, and then you know, we arrange lah. You give me a special rate, then every day you pick me at this time, send me to the same place. How, can or not? Yeah, I'm trying to establish a not everlasting lah, but try to establish a lasting relationship with you. How? What do you say? Say yes. Yeah. If we do that, then the mother company will be cut out of the transaction. So sometimes having lasting relationship can have an impact on others. So of course, in such a case, the one that is being impacted would want to prevent that kind of lasting relationship. In certain cases, we want to have the lasting relationship, yeah, for practical purposes. For example, yeah, do you want to see a different doctor every other time? It depends. If you are trying to get MC, yeah, you don't want to establish a pattern with them, you know. So, like, you know, the first week of every month you go to this doctor, you know, or maybe you like 1, 3, 5, and then or something. Yeah. Now I say it as though I'm an expert. I'm not an expert. Yeah. In my whole life, the few times I actually go to see the doctor and get an MC is when I'm hospitalized. Yeah, dengue fever. Was it dengue fever? Let me see. Yeah, dengue fever. Yeah, dengue fever. Chickenpox, dengue fever, and then like, you know, like very extreme cases. Yeah, so I actually don't know. Not personally anyway, but I've heard from students. Yeah, I learned from the best. Yeah. So other than that, we usually want to have a form of like what we call family doctor. Yeah. Do you all have family doctors? Yeah. I used to the first time I heard of family doctor is in TV series. Yeah. And I was like, what does family doctor mean? You mean the family have a doctor assigned to them? You know, I didn't understand the concept. Then I realized that actually when they say family doctors, at least in Singapore, it just means that there's a particular clinic or doctor that you frequent. Yeah. If you go to a private doctor, then over time, the doctor has a series of your medical records, and chances are the doctor would have a feel of your body condition. Yeah. So like, let's say, again, Zhuo Ping, yeah. Let's say, do you want to be doctor or patient? I mean, your choice.
Yeah, patient.
You'll be patient, so I'll be the doctor, okay? So, yeah, so you come, let's say, Zhuo Ping comes to see me, and then over a number of years. So over 10 years, then I start to get to know him. And not just know him perhaps as a patient, beyond just that. Because maybe he bring his father or mother, or maybe even bring his children in future to see me. Yeah. So over time, I start to observe certain patterns. Yeah. So whenever he come in, then I say, Zhou Bing, how are you? Of course, you see me, you cannot be well. So you tell me, what is the problem? Headache. Then I say, doing your papers again. Must remember to rest. Yeah, I see. Let me open your eyes. Not open your eyes. Open your mouth. Yeah. I mean, maybe he walk in and then close his eyes. Yeah, open your mouth. Check. Okay, a bit of inflammation in your throat. Yeah. Let me try your eyes. Okay, pupil dilation. Okay, a bit red. Don't sleep too late. Yeah. Okay. So do you need MC or not? But yeah, Zhou Bing is very hardworking. So sometimes I even have to force him to go on MC. Yeah. So this can only happen when there's an intimate relationship over time. Yeah, because over time, then you can see a certain pattern. But if let's say Zhou Bing is one of those always cute MC one, then it depends on whether I want to support him. Yeah. But usually that kind of relationship goes both ways. Yeah. If let's say Zhou Bing is someone who is always trying to look for MC, but I'm not such a doctor, then I may say, what's your problem again? Third time this month, Are you okay or not? You want to? I tell you what, I think I recommend you to see a specialist. Yeah. Then maybe Zhou Bing will not come back again. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. So it takes two to lasting relationship or a longer term relationship. And this applies not just to professional, but to romantic, platonic, and family kind of relationship as well. Is there any relationship where the duration itself is fixed? Other than professional ones, yeah, the first three, 1, 2, 3, these three do not have fixed tenure. Yeah, there's no fixed duration. If it's a fixed duration, you cannot change it. Then you cannot make it lasting. You understand? Yeah. If it's meant to have a fixed duration, then you cannot make it longer or shorter. Yeah. If it's this long, it's this long. If it's this short, it's this short. Yeah. So number 4, professional relationships is of that nature. Yeah. Because of the nature of it, the duration usually, is determined through the interaction. Even though in the case of a family doctor, you may meet over a long period of time, yeah, but each interaction is also finite. Yeah. But for the first 3, romantic, platonic, and family, the duration itself, is it fixed or not fixed? In some ways, it appears to be fixed, or at least we seem to perceive it to be fixed. For example, sibling relationship. Yeah. Sibling relationship. Chinese have a saying, is it something like 血浓过水, 浓过水? Yeah, so blood is thicker than water. Yeah. So in a way, in terms of all these first 3 relationships, would you agree that sibling kind of kinship is the longest? All things being equal. Father and not just father, parent-child. Parent-child usually lasts for almost the whole lifetime of the child. Usually, yeah. There are unfortunate cases where the child pass away before the parent. Yeah, but usually parents pass away before the child. So for the lifespan of the child, the parents are there. So in terms of biological relationship, then we can say that it lasts for as long as you are alive, right? But when we talk about family, is it just merely biological relationship? Not really, isn't it? Yeah. Parent-child, in a way, is biological, but beyond that, there's also other aspects to consider. Yeah, the state of the relationship can determine the quality of it. Yeah, not all parent-child relationship is rosy and sunny. Yeah, isn't it? Sometimes it can be quite tenuous. Yeah, sometimes it can be so brittle, so abrasive that sometimes children don't feel like coming back home. Sometimes parents don't feel like coming back home. Yeah, you'll be surprised. It seems like, why parents just come home, lor, children don't come home. But sometimes you'll be surprised. I've ever met parents before. They feel so sad that when they think about going home, they don't feel like going home, you know. Yeah, I have ever counseled one mother. Yeah, like somehow disconnected. Yeah, but a series of factors. Yeah, feel disjointed from the husband and the sons. Yeah, so end up just bury herself at work. Yeah, and sometimes finish work just go and you know. Yeah, so sometimes when I'm offered lunch outside, yeah, over the years I'm like, wow, Singaporeans, are we getting freer? How come weekdays, then lunchtime, then a lot of people but you'll be surprised, maybe some of them, maybe they finish work, maybe they're not working, but they really don't have a connection, human connection. Yeah, so going to a place doesn't mean anything, yeah, if you don't have that human connection. Yeah, and that's why it is important to find out how to establish lasting relationships. But again, to begin with, for most of these relationships, 1, 2, and 3, there seems to be a almost innate need and wish, desire, if you will, to have a longer relationship. Huh? Are we correct to say that? Yeah. For those of you who have been in the romantic type of relationship before, girls, I'm saying girls not because I have the kind of like patriarchal mindset, okay, or male chauvinistic mindset, but it seems to be the norm for the guy to go after the girl. But if you are the new age woman, woman go after guy, can you all just change the role, okay? Yeah. So whether guy or girl, imagine if someone like hang out with you for a while and then decide to start a more formal relationship with you, okay? How would you feel if the person asks you in this way? Hey, we've been hanging out for a while, seems quite nice, and then would you be my XYZ for 3 months? Whatever XYZ is fine, but you just add in for 3 months. Suddenly the whole statement changes, Yeah. Maybe ask you to be the girlfriend or boyfriend, and maybe you are a bit surprised, like you are just you enjoy hanging out together, but you're not quite ready to to commit to a one-to-one relationship. Yeah. So will you be my XYZ itself is like quite a surprise, and at the same time it's an affirmation of who you are, like wow, someone find you interesting enough to want to spend more time with you, and then suddenly for 3 months. Yeah, how would you feel about that? And just when you thought that that's crazy, let's make it even more interesting. Yeah, someone asks you to marry him or her, and then for 3 months. Like these days can't be sure about things. Let's just have a probation, have a trial. Yeah, trial run. Yeah, let's get married for 3 months. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Now, if it does happen in future, mark my words, I say it first. Yeah, but that'd be crazy, isn't it? Like it's unthinkable today. Yeah, unthinkable today. Yeah. So why? Why is that the case? Yeah. When you even consider to be in a more formal relationship, perhaps the clue is here. What are the circumstances when you would even consider to be in such a relationship? Is it because the nature is not what you want? Is it because you don't enjoy the relationship or you enjoy the relationship? Is it that the state of the relationship, yeah, is pleasant to you, yeah, it is going in the direction where you are comfortable with or not, yeah, which one is it? Most likely, in your mind, you'll be thinking, well, the nature is something that you connect with, you're having pleasant interaction, yeah, and the state is quite nice, yeah. Usually, you want it to this or that, yeah. You'll be surprised if, let's say, someone that you don't really hang out with, and every time you all meet, yeah, you know, you say one word and the person blasts you with 10 counter statements, and then one day suddenly the guy or girl suddenly, hey, maybe we can go steady, huh? Whatever gave you the idea. Yeah. So not to mention even having lasting relationship. You will not even think about bringing the relationship to the next level. Yeah. So inbuilt into today's topic is that we are probably looking at relationships that matter to us, that are meaningful to us, that perhaps improve us, yeah, makes us better or make us feel good. Okay, so these are all the different reasons that make us want to have the relationship last longer. Would you all agree? Yeah. If you all have any other thoughts, you all can also bring up. Then we can, you know, make it more complete. Now, before we go into the 4 qualities, I want to just point out, which is that even as we may think, I would like the relationship to last, or I want to establish more meaningful relationships. Relationships, you see, another disruption. That's interesting. How come my phone is actually not turned off? Should I answer? How would you feel if I answer it? Would that disrupt our relationship? It would, isn't it? Yeah. What if it's a delivery? No, I don't know. It's a strange number. I'm going to ignore it. So imagine, like, when this happened, it's a bit odd, isn't it? But sometimes I actually pick up the call, you know, and then put on speakerphone. Hello? Yeah, and then I'll tell the other person, I'm actually giving a talk right now. You're in the talk. Yeah. So, relationships. Before we go into what can make relationships last, I want to just bring up one last thing, which is the question, is there that is a given? A given meaning that it's meant to be. It must happen. That it doesn't need conditions at all. Professional relationship, probably not. Yeah, that's probably the last thing you would think of. Yeah, if it's a definite must-have, it means that you are stuck. Yeah, you cannot change that. Is there any kind of professional relationship that you are in where you cannot have a choice? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you must know that that is equal to slavery. Yeah. So as of today, we all have a choice. Of course, our choices may cause a loss of income, yeah, that may prevent us from making that choice. But that's another thing altogether. How about romantic relationship? Is it a must? Is it a given? No. Yeah. And of course, this then flies in the face of the concept of true love. Yeah, relationships, especially romantic ones, there's no such a thing as meant to be, must have. Yeah, it happens when there are specific conditions. Yeah, we call this description, we give it a special name. We call it chemistry. Yeah, we call it chemistry. Yeah, Or do you have that feeling? Yeah, have chemistry or not? If no chemistry, no matter how many times you meet, you can meet each other, yeah, day in, day out, still no chemistry. Yeah. Fortunately, that's the case. Because in our life, who are the people that we meet most often? Actually, the people at work. Yeah. So fortunately, the conditions for them to happen are different. Yeah. If simply meeting frequently is a condition, and a definite condition, you meet frequently, then die must happen, or then jialat. Yeah. Then all the colleagues all will be falling in love with each other. Yeah. But fortunately, that's not the case. You can meet one person just once in your life, and just, somehow cannot forget that person. Maybe that person gives you a slap. Yeah. Whatever that person did, it was a lasting impression. Yeah. Whether it's romantic or not, that's another thing. Okay? But because it requires condition, then perhaps I want to highlight that should give us a clue. That for it to last, it also requires condition. And when conditions change, then it cannot and should not last. Yeah. And if you can understand, if we can appreciate that and understand that, a huge part of our life's problem will be solved. Yeah? Because many trouble in life is about holding on to relationships that is already actually not present, already gone. Yeah? Like for example, even in the professional field, you take a Grab, and after that, you continue to complain about the Grab. Yeah? 1 day later, 2 days later, you continue to, although you have gotten off the car, the Grab driver has driven off, you are still in the car. Yeah? You remain in the car. Although physically not in the car, but yeah, every day you go on Facebook and post. Yeah. And then every day you are looking out for that car. Blue color tag. Is it the car? Yeah. Of course, fortunately, again, most of us are not like that. Yeah. Why? Because this is a professional relationship. Maybe we'll stay in the car for 1 more day. Yeah. Rant a bit. But after that, we just forget it. Yeah, we just forget it. But others, a bit trickier. Yeah, others are a bit trickier. For family and kids, sometimes it's the other way around. We are still in the relationship, but we are not really in the relationship anymore. Yeah. The other one is we are not in the car already, but we are still holding on to the car. This one, because it's a blood relation, you cannot really change your DNA. Yeah. You cannot go for major overhaul transfusion. Yeah. We're not like a car. A car, you can do overhaul, change all the engine oil, but human beings, we cannot just change for what? Stem cell treatment, and then say, okay, now we are not biologically related anymore. And so, unfortunately, sometimes we are in a conundrum. And so, for family and kids, we are kind of stuck with it. In extreme cases, then individuals even come out with newspaper notice, traditionally we say, to sever all ties. 一刀两断. Yeah, and not enough, tell the whole world. From today onward, Mr. A and his son is no longer father and son. Yeah, or Miss B, Madam B and this so-and-so no longer family, and so on. Many times this happens when family is too rich. Too rich, then there's all this problem. Yeah. How about platonic? Platonic friendships? Kind of hit and miss. Yeah. Depends on the conditions also. Platonic friendships in particular, if just now we mentioned about how just meeting frequently doesn't necessarily mean that you will spark some chemistry. Yeah, but platonic friendship, in some ways, need time to nurture. Yeah, just like the other few personal kind of relationship. Yeah, when you don't meet too often, you will feel a bit distant. I've known some students who tell me, no, Shifu, me and my friends, we can meet just once a year, but when we meet, it's like nothing, like there's no time gap. Told me the first year. Second year still insist. Third year still insist. Now, Shifu, I think recently we meet up differently. Not that I'm happy that they are different, just to prove me right. Yeah, I wish it was not. Yeah, but unfortunately, this is the nature of actually all kinds of relationship. You lose contact for too long, then it's gone. And of course, actually romantic, I put it as number one because it's the most taxing type. Yeah, what we call expensive, high maintenance. Most romantic relationships are high maintenance. Yeah. When we say high maintenance, ladies, please do not feel personal. Yeah. It is not that you are high maintenance, it's that the relationship is high maintenance. Yeah, it means both parties have to put in a lot. The total effort required to maintain it is a lot. And mind you, romantic and family converge in a marriage. Yeah. Ourselves with our parents, not romantic. Ourselves with siblings, not romantic. But a family, father, mother, started off as romantic relationship. Yeah. Then evolved into family. Yeah. Yeah, evolved into family. But in that process, a lot of changes. Yeah, a lot of changes. So how do we survive these changes? How do we ensure that it can last? These are the 4 qualities. 信戒施惠. If you're like this couple, there was this couple in the Buddha's time. They've known each other for a long, long time. Some of you would recall this sutta. It's from the Anguttara Nikaya, book 4. In one of these sutta, the English translation is in tune. Yeah, in tune. The two of them went to see the Buddha and asked the Buddha how they can be together in future life. Yeah, quite amazing. Yeah, the Buddha actually advised them how they can do that. Usually when I share this sutta, I was also asked the funny question, today when we learn Buddhism, we tend to think of, we seldom think of relationships in the context of Buddhism. Yeah. In Buddhism, we tend to think about the impression, the first image that comes to us is the Shaolin master, 阿弥陀佛，平生四大皆空，六根清净，施主请回吧。This is the kind of general impression we have. Then you cannot imagine, like, if yourself, not to mention ask the Buddha, if yourself kind of ask me, you with your husband or you with your boyfriend, girlfriend, come and ask Shifu, how can we have a lasting relationship for the rest of our life? In the context of that kind of imagery that the mass media give us. Yeah? What answer will I give? Yeah? Most people will think like, 找死啊. Go and ask Sifu this kind of stupid question. Just Sifu piak. Retreat, don't go and attend. I want to last some more. Just now meditation, didn't listen carefully. Impermanent, transient. Yeah, right? So there's this disconnect, there's this disconnect. And that's why sometimes when people come to Buddhism, tend to just hover around the gate. Yeah, hover around the doorstep. Because the moment they peer in, doesn't seem to relate to their life. Doesn't seem to make sense to their life. But then I want to bring this up, and in particular because it's quite nice today because a couple of you are quite new. What we have, the impression we have of Buddhism today, can be quite disjointed actually, compared to how the Buddha was, yeah, the teachings he actually gave people. He didn't always just, like just off the cuff tell people, don't be so attached, hold hands some more, stand further apart, husband stand here, wife. No. Yeah, in the Buddha's time, when this couple came to see the Buddha actually gave them advice. Yeah, the Buddha didn't scold them, didn't say, 你们两个奸夫淫妇. No. Yeah, instead, he told them, if you establish yourself in these 4 qualities, then in this life, yeah, not to mention this life, even in future life, you can be together if you so wish. Yeah, just establish yourself to the same level in your faith, morality, giving, and wisdom. Yeah, these 4 qualities. The Buddha says that if you establish these 4 qualities to the same level, in this life, you can be together. Yeah, you will not be apart. And if you so wish, next life as well. Why is this possible? Now, in the context of the Dharma, then faith would be faith in the triple gem. Yeah, faith in the triple gem: Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. In other words, having the, in a sense, we can say having the same religion. Yeah, and if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. If 2 persons have opposing religion, yeah, or faith, then a bit tricky, Then the next is morality or precepts. That means your ethics, your ethical values, yeah, is similar. Yeah, one person, like imagine if one person think that it's okay to take MC, the other one not okay, then jialat. Yeah, just to mention some simple ones. If you extend deeper into our day-to-day life, then it becomes even trickier. Among friends, even if you have a slight difference in worldview in terms of your worldview over precepts and morality, among friends, not much issue. Why? What do you do as friends? The most meet up for coffee, tea, chit-chat a bit, how's things going, yeah. But how your friend conduct their life usually don't directly affect us, yeah. Unless our friend chill us to join them. Our friend want to do some business, then a bit shady one, yeah. And then there's a bit of a conflict. But otherwise, most of the time between friends, there's no conflict of interest, yeah. So, but for family, yeah, especially between husband and wife, then this can be a bit tricky if it's varying too much. To maintain 100% equilibrium, that's a bit tricky also, yeah. But if it's close, then it's not so bad. The third, giving, is about how open-handed we are. This is not simply about charity, but this is also about our worldview, how we relate to material things. Yeah, if one partner look at material things as so important, the other one chin cai, then can have conflict, isn't it? Yeah. Excuse? Oh. I thought you want to ask a question. Then lastly, wisdom. Wisdom can be worldly wisdom, can be supramundane wisdom. And again, if the differences are too great, then there can be conflict. Now, beyond this life, then there are actually certain implication about future life. Because when the Buddha say that these 2 persons can be together, there are implications as to their karma. Because the way we act, the way we speak, the way we think, these are determined by these 4 as well. If our faith in, here we say faith in the triple gem, but not all of us have faith in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Some people have faith in Western medicine. Yeah, some people, doesn't mean that if you are Buddhist cannot have faith in Western medicine, just as an example. But if a person has faith in, let's say, the materialist view. You are familiar with the materialist view? 唯物主义. That means the idea that only the physical body exists. After you die, nothing left. Okay? Yeah. Maybe we may be more familiar with the word materialistic. Yes, materialistic, more familiar? Actually, materialistic, the word materialistic has gone into mainstream usage, but sometimes a bit stretched. It basically refers to how a person views the only thing that matters. Yeah, why? Because it's based on the materialist view, that there's only the physical world. And it then shaped the person's way of life to spend all the energy, effort, and life in pursuit of material gains, material comfort, material everything. So usually we use the word materialistic with this connotation, but actually it has that background linked to the materialist view. Materialist view is also known as nihilistic view. So then it is even closer tied to both philosophy and also the Buddhist teaching. In the Buddhist teaching, in the Buddha's time, the Buddha encountered ascetics who were nihilistic. So nihilistic in what sense? They have this view that whatever they do, as long as they come to the end of this life, then all the suffering will end. So they have this kind of mindset. Then as a result, it shapes the way they live their life. So depending on what kind of view we have, whether it's faith, driven by our morality, driven by our giving or not, driven by our wisdom, it can shape how we look at this world. It can shape the way we live our life. And that directly would determine the karma we plant. And that in turn will determine our future life. So imagine if a person, in terms of morality, think that it's okay to go hunting. Any of you go hunting? Singapore, there's no place to hunt. No, at home we hunt cockroaches. Do you all hunt cockroaches? I hope you all don't hunt cockroaches for your own sake. But so imagine if one person likes hunting, the other person likes to go to, let's say, do animal protection, not to mention future life. Can these two persons see eye to eye in this life? Cannot. Then, if we can accept the teaching on karma and rebirth, do you think these two persons will be reborn in a similar state? Also difficult. One person keep on killing, the other person keep on protecting animals, but somehow both born in the same place? Doesn't make sense. So it's on this basis that when we look at the teaching, no wonder why if two persons maintain this 4 to equal level, they can be together in this life and in future life. One last funny point. If two persons maintain these 4 qualities to the same low level, they can be together also in the next life. Apart from this, there are many other factors involved in establishing a relationship. In fact, together with these 4, not so much apart, together with these 4, the different aspects. When we think about the teachings, the terms sometimes feel a bit distant. So for example, right speech. Right speech, if you consider what is speech, it's actually communication. And when you talk about speech, The Buddha didn't just talk about right speech. The Buddha also talked about loving speech. Yeah, to make certain considerations before we speak. Yeah, to consider, is this truthful or not truthful? Yeah, is this beneficial to the other person or not beneficial? Is this the right time or is this not the right time? When I speak, will I give rise to defilements as a result? Yeah. If you consider all this together with these 4 qualities, I'm quite confident, I think, yeah, the relationships can be more meaningful and lasting. Last thing I want to highlight, although the topic is about establishing lasting relationship, think about it. If you have a choice between lasting and meaningful, and if you had to choose between these two, which one would you choose? More important to have meaningful relationship, isn't it? Yeah. We say, 留住他的人，留不住他的心啊。This is what we mean by having meaningful relationship. Yeah. No point just wanting it to last, but not meaningful. Just like now, already exceeded by 10 minutes. Yeah. If I still make it lasting, then not meaningful anymore. Yeah. So as a result, it must end now. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。